Hey, what's going on, you guys? Sim Fitness here. Today I wanted to tell you that I know somebody who you know. Now, what are you talking about, Sim? How can you possibly tell me that you know somebody that I know when you don't even know me, right? You don't even know me like that. So how do I know? How do you know somebody who I know? How do you even know that you know that I know somebody you know? You know what I'm saying? Well, anyway, if that's not confusing enough, it's true though, because I do know this exact person that you know. Let me guess. They're they're out of shape and overweight, constantly complaining, constantly blaming other people for their issues in life, always in and out of doctors, constantly blaming other people for their physical and mental ailments, takes multiple medications, unable to take responsibility for themselves, their lives, their careers, the people they're in relationships with, and always, of course, always, it's never their fault. Now, I might have said a couple things once or twice over again, but you get the idea, right? Now, when it's women, it's bad, right? But that's sort of what women do. You know, women are emotional beings. So, in a way, it's fine for them. But when men meet this description, it's really bad. And you really want to stay away from these people because these people are pretty much drain on the society. These so-called men, which they're not men, are a drain on the society because they don't understand how to take responsibility for their own health, their own well-being, and they use those two things as sort of their identity. So they become more than just a person. They become somebody with a physical ailment. See, it's like I am somebody with this disease, or I am somebody with that disease. That's who I am. That's who I become. And it all follows through with the same vein of being, say, transgender. All of a sudden you wake up one day, you become a woman, or one day you wake up, you become a man from being a woman. That's like all of a sudden, like that's who your identity, that's who you become suddenly when it's not the case. It's completely all in your mind. And that's the same thing with people who have lower back injuries or different types of injuries to their body, or maybe their health isn't so well. And so they become, I am a diabetic, they'll say, or I am a depressed person. And they really sit and they sink inside that hole, whatever they built for themselves, and they'll plug into that as their true identity, and they'll ignore everything else, and they'll be helpless about it. They'll just flop around saying, I can't help myself, I can't help myself, and they'll go from medication to medication to medication to doctors to different tests, MRIs, BKGs, x-rays, whatever it might be, looking for that cure, constantly looking for the next, the next pill, the next whatever it might be, the next shot, the next doctor, the next answer, whatever the next answer might be. And I've unfortunately I met multiple people like this, and they're just always just looking for that next excuse. If this sounds like somebody that you know, it's because these people are everywhere, and they're trying to get in the way of people who are really trying to get somewhere in life, like you or me. And their goal is to essentially drag everybody else down because inside themselves they know what they're doing is wrong. Let's say the guys who one day decide to wake up as a woman, they know it's wrong, right? They know it's not correct. They know in their heart it's not correct because biologically they're a man. That goes against their strict biological code of conduct on a biological chromosome level, which we all understand and know, but apparently we have all forgotten. This is not about transgender people, but it's so true that even encompasses these types of people. So what's the answer, right? How do you get out of this? Let's say you decide, you know what, Simca, he might be on something, and he sounds like he's talking about me, or he sounds like maybe want to help out a friend. Just like with everything else in life, you need to take in charge of your own health. Right? So, for example, if your mental health is suffering, you go ahead, do your research. Do your research and look up what the hell is wrong with you. Why is it that you are mentally struggling? Is it your sleep? Is it your diet? Maybe, it's something that triggers off a memory of something else that you've experienced in your life that you need to work out. So this way you can come back and be like, hey, you know what? I'm good. And just start slowly getting yourself back on track, whatever it might be. You need to address that issue head on so you can move forward, because you can't let a mental disability or a mental setback hold you back from accomplishing and being all that you can be in life. As far as physical, if you have a physical ailment, whether it be like your lower back, like my lower back was shot. Basically, I slipped a disc for like 3 years. I could barely walk for like 3 years, basically. And I mean, I could walk, but it was painful every single morning. And finally, I stood up and I said, I'm going to quit feeling sorry for myself. And after 3 or 4 years of having a slipped disc, I weaned myself back to getting healthy again. Pretty much dumbbell good mornings, more or less, for a lack of a better term, and just slow, gradual, like 2 pound dumbbells, and I worked my way up to 3 pound dumbbells and 4 pound. By the time I was working with 100 pound dumbbells, please believe my back was 100% solid again. And that might not have been work for you, but is what worked for me. And that's sort of part and parcel of what you need to do to make sure that you're progressing. For me, it was dumbbells. For you, it could be bands or something, or some different other type of rehabilitation exercise that you might need to do to get yourself back together. But the whole point is, I always get sidetracked. The whole point is that you figure out what it is that is holding you back physically, right? You pinpoint that, right? You grab that and you say, hey, you tackle that head on using science. We got all the internet available for you. And in my opinion, I would like to bring back an era in which we actually respect people who have the accolades on YouTube. You see, for some reason, in today's day and age, it seems to be sort of the in thing and more the popular notion to disregard those who have the credentials, right? Those who have PhDs and those who have degrees, right, in subjects. We seem to disregard those. Let's get back to those people. I would like to call for a movement to get back to those experts in the field, because that's what they do. Not disregard their knowledge, because I feel like that's really, really popular and possibly even taught in these colleges these days, where we're going to take these experts, and they really are experts of their fields, and just disregard their learnings and their teachings and what they have to share with us. Like, if you see somebody on the YouTube land and they got a PhD, or they're wearing a lab coat, and they have, like, you can clearly see they look like a doctor, and that they got the accolades. Maybe they have a lot of views, a lot of subscribers. Maybe they're linked to a website which takes you to their page, which takes you to their practice. Well, heck, I mean, maybe you should listen to what that guy says, and maybe after that you should go log on to the next YouTube channel and listen to what this guy says, and just piece it all together, do your research, and just be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to diagnose myself. I think I have this ailment, and I'm going to try these methods of physical therapy for myself, and see if it works out, and see if I can fix myself, take responsibility for my own body. See, because nobody cares about your own body as much as you do. The doctors don't care. The physical therapists don't care. They're trying to make a living. You got to understand that. They're trying to make a living. And when you come in all broken up and you pay them to fix you, they're getting paid, whether it be through the insurance, whether it be through your deposits, whatever the case may be. They're getting paid, and they need you to keep coming back so they can make more money. So in a way, they want to fix you, but in a way, they don't want you to get well too fast, because if you do, then you won't come back, then you won't pay them. It's kind of like the mechanic that never quite fixes your car, or doesn't tell you to get a new car because he knows that old car is going to be coming back continuously so he can make money off you. It's sort of the same type of example. And you just got to realize that you need to take charge of your own body. You need to realize that nobody understands your body as much as you do. No doctors, no physical therapists, none of these people, they don't understand. What I'm trying to say here is have a holistic approach to your injuries and your health, right? If something don't feel right, don't do it, right? If something makes you feel good, then do your research, and if it still makes you feel good, then go do that. And the point is, use your mind, use critical thinking skills, use common sense. I can't tell you how many people just sit in their own disability, sit in their own injury, lack of ability to realize what gender they're part of, or their sexuality, or having all these issues when they just listen to what their bodies are truly telling them and accepting the research that's being put out there through YouTube and through the internet and applying that knowledge to themselves, and not necessarily, not just paying just some quote unquote professional, who happens to be local over where you are, without going into there with a common sense frame of mind. It's so important. And once you do that, you will feel so much better. You will feel like you're taking control of your own health rather than somebody else who is responsible for your health. You are taking control of your own destiny, of your own health and body. And that's so much more gratifying. Like, I know that my body's going to be okay unless I do something really, really, really stupid, right? I'm going to be all right because I'm taking care of myself. I'm doing the best I can to make sure that my diet's in check, that my exercise is all right, that I'm doing what I need to do to stay, to stay mobile and stay all right. I just hurt my shoulder the other day, my rotator cuff. I really injured it. But you know what? I'm rehabilitating it because of some stuff I saw from Jeff Cavalier, right? And some other stuff I saw from, I think it was some doctor I saw on YouTube. And I started, doing all the, the rotator cuff movements and everything I have to do. And I'll tell you, my rotator cuff is nearly as good. It's like a little pinch. Whereas before I couldn't even go like this without hearing a serious crack. Now it's like a little pinch inside the shoulder, and that'll be gone within 3 weeks. 3 weeks I'll be completely cured, back on the bench press schedule. It's just a small example of taking responsibility for your body. Here, when I really hurt myself, I really couldn't sleep because I was rolling on my shoulder, and my shoulder was like impinged. I had like an impinged shoulder / rotator cuff. It was really, really hurting me. And I just took care of my business. I made sure I gave it some rest. I did what I had to do. I moved to closed grip bench press. Like I said, I did the rotator cuff stuff. I did some other stuff. I bought a resistance band from Target. Like simple things that you don't need to be spending thousands and thousands and thousands on your local practice, your local medical doctor, whatever, to go ahead and do. I think I've pretty much made my point. Don't sit around. Don't be a schlump. Don't go ahead and complain, why me, and deflect and just be like, hey, what about him? What about her? What about his? Her fault, it's him fault. Take responsibility for yourself and take care of yourself. Get your stuff right. All right, man, that's all I got to say about it. Hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.